going on, guys? It's Cade with Southern EV. We're gonna film a really quick intro right here. We're pulling up at a Foodland to meet a guy. We're buying a bike, and in this envelope we've got $1,500. So you may be thinking, you know, what kind of bike are we about to get? So I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people. So stay tuned, and we got some big stuff coming soon. What's going on, guys? Just completed the purchase, didn't want to get the guy on video, kind of wanted to get in and out on this transaction. Like I said, we just got this bike for $1,500, so you'll see here in a second exactly why we wanted to be quick about it. So here is the next Sev's bike and Sev's project. It is a 2022 Light B, Surron Light B, 700 miles on it. It's a little bit in a collapse situation. Both the brakes are out. There's some damage right here on both the brake levers. Both the tires are going to need to be replaced. The battery was completely dead. Guy didn't have a charger. That's fine. We have an extra Surron battery, so we brought it with us. Everything seems to be pretty decent on it. There's some damage on the back thing, you know, obviously looped out. Some damage on the frame. But we're gonna get this thing built up, and we got some big things planned for it. But just quickly show you the current condition, little before and after here in the Foodland parking lot that we got. But I can tell you right now, it's good enough. So yeah, super excited to get this build going. Like I said, a little clapped right now, but that's how we like it. $1,500, can't complain. The cheapest marketplace Surron find you may ever come across. Stay tuned, because we are taking it back to the shop right now to get the build started.
What's up, guys? Cade and Hate It made it back to the shop with the bike, and I know y'all got to check it out just a little bit for a second there, but we're gonna do a deeper dive into what's wrong with it and try to figure out all the things that we can replace with existing parts that we have or we've taken off previous bikes. So we're gonna walk around the bike with you and show you the condition it's in. Overall, guys, the bike is in pretty good shape. The frame is in good condition. There are a few scratches here and there. There's the obvious plate that's mounted sideways for some reason. There's a little bit of damage on both brake levers, as to be expected with a used bike. Both of them, especially that one, is not looking good. It's got cool red grips. I think I like those. Those are pretty sweet. There's a little bit of scratching on the stock handlebars here. Still got the stem mount coming around here. The screen itself, the stock OEM screen, is a little bit scratched, and it's just come apart from the Sport and the EP buttons. That should be a pretty easy, simple fix. We don't think it's broken, it just seems like it's come apart. Also on this side of the handlebars, there's a little bit of scraping going on right here, but nothing too bad. The throttle looks like it's in good shape, and on our test rides, it feels fine. Moving to the ignition, everything looks good. The battery door looks good. The seat is relatively fine. There's definitely a big gash right over here. That's not great, but that should be a relatively easy fix. I believe we have an extra stock Surron seat that we're going to use for that. It shouldn't be a problem at all. And as well, there's a huge chunk of the rear tail missing, of the stock rear tail. That's kind of funny. And then right here, of course, semi-significant damage to the subframe. Like no structural damage at all, no warping, no bending, just some scratches. It's definitely been laid down, and that led to a little bit here as well, maybe just some rubbing, but nothing too crazy. Move into the suspension. The suspension looks totally normal. Everything's fine. No signs of cracks or any damage or major rusting near the bearings. All that looks a-okay. Definitely, let's talk about the tires. The tires are the #1 thing that we're going to focus on getting replaced today immediately. I happen to have my stock set that I took off of my bike when I put the Supermotos on there. And with these tires, the rims are really scratched up. The tires themselves are deflated, dry rotted. There's many spokes missing, bent spokes. The tires are in really rough shape. But we're not worried about that. We've got those. Those are going to get replaced extremely soon. Moving to the front. Nothing too bad. The fork's looking good condition. No major scrapes on the triple clamp. It just really does seem to need a little bit of a TLC and it be up and running and fine. The foot peg brackets are normal, not too bad bent. Normally you see those are really bad warped and bent in, but those are fine. And then let's talk about the battery. The guy listed it and the battery was dead. He didn't have a charger. The battery was reading 0%. He couldn't turn the bike on. We have an extra Surron battery just in case, but this is the battery, and it does seem the battery that came with the bike. It's got some wear and tear from where he's had it in there for a while. This is a 2022 bike, we believe, and it does seem to be charging. It was at 0, which is definitely not good for the bike. However, it does seem to be charging, so we're going to try to make sure that that's hopefully not too bad damaged. I'm sure it was slightly damaged from being at 0 so long, but other than that, it is a phenomenal build. It's a little squeaky here and there. It just needs some grease. It just needs a little bit of lube on the chain, and it should be a great bike. So we're about to dive right into doing some work on it. So here we go.
What's going on, guys? It's Cade behind the camera right now. I'm letting Jackson and Hayden take the lead on this build for sure. This is going to end up being Hayden's bike since he's on the Tudio right now. So currently we're getting started on the transformation. They're currently working on the front tire. We're going to get it changed out for Jackson's stock set since he went to a Supermoto set. So yeah, it's looking like a beautiful day out here. A little hot and steamy in the gym. There's old Cash Money, Sev's dog, Jim dog. But yeah.
So right here, right now, we're taking off the end caps for the axle, the front axle, loosening up these front bolts. We're gonna slide that out so that we can get the front tire off.
And what Hayden's doing right now is those bottom ones that he just took out, you see they're there on the left, not there on the right, that loosens the area in which the front axle runs through. So if you're having trouble getting your axle out, try loosening those up a bit on top of removing the nuts you see right there. So what you just missed right there, Jackson hammered with the screwdriver the end of that to kind of give Hayden a little bit of area to grab and pull that axle through. And once you do that, that's going to help you remove that front tire. Maybe not typically advised, but we're using a drill on the initial rotor, front rotor here, because there was so much Loctite and they were so stripped from the previous person. So if you got to do that, do it. Just anticipate having to replace those screws and potentially, if you have to do that, replacing the whole rotor. Now the boys are just reinstalling the rotor on the other tire, and that's as simple as just putting the bolts in and tightening them up. Crisscross pattern right there is typically advised, especially once you start tightening. That just helps make sure that it's even. You don't have a warply installed or anything. So now we are on to reinstalling the front wheel. All that's going to take is a little bit of lining up of the forks and just trying to make sure get those spacers in there. As you can see what Jackson is doing, that black piece that goes in between that just fell out typically happens. It's a tight squeeze in there. If you've ever done this before, you know there's very little room to work with, and typically this is better done with 2 people, 3 even, so you can have 1 person on each side. pulling apart the forks to kind of get it in there. So we got that axle nut in. Now it's all about tightening them both up on each sides and making sure you have the bottom fork bolts tightened to make sure that front axle is firm. But you also don't want to over tighten it to the point where it can't rotate. That will actually make it to where your front tire will not be able to move at all. So that's also important, just to make sure there's enough grease on there so it can be in there tight, but at the same time have some motion.
So we ran into a little bit of an issue here. We had some bolt stripping problems, and they're just stuck. I don't think he's ever taken the rotor off, so it's been a little bit tricky, but we're gonna get it off. And while we did that, as you saw some clips, we went ahead and took the front plate off, went ahead and removed the rear brake because it is pretty much done. And we're getting ready to do some cleanup in the front and get this rear brake and rear tire installed. Blue Loctite equals good. Red Loctite. But you don't need much. It's just enough to wear it.
So now Hayden is working on taking a couple panels off the bike, like the battery tray floor. We're gonna have to take off some of the controller so it hangs out a little bit, as well as the bash guard under the bike. Because right now we're working on running the old, or getting the old brake unran from inside and through the bike, and then we will run the new brake through it. Right now, just to catch you up with what we've done, we've got the front tire put on. We've done a little bit of damage control up top with analyzing what needs to be done. We got the rear tire ready to go. We just got to get this rear brake kind of dialed in a little bit, which it's probably one of the hardest jobs on this bike, because you've got to run it all the way through the bike, take off multiple components. As you can see right here, we had to take off the bash guard, that little part right under the controller. And so yeah, and basically we're gonna put this thing back together and then probably re-bleed these brakes, throw some new pads on, get that rear tire on, and it'll be ready to go. So we got the rear brake caliper installed, waiting on the rear tire to be done. Jackson's working on removing that front brake sensor, and right now Hayden's working on a little nifty little thing right now where you take out 3 screws, those 2 right there on the front that he's working with, right there, and then there's one other on this side at the bottom, and essentially you're gonna pop this up over the fork, and that's what's going to give you the opportunity to run the lever through that gap.
There it is. All right, slide it real quick. Where's the brake? Right there. All right. Very quickly. Slide that back down.
Yeah, just like that. As simple as screwing those 3 screws in, boys and girls. So we've got pretty much the whole thing rebuilt. It's looking really good. Got a couple things like the motor cover out there drying. We added a little few touches of red to it. And now we're on to the last step, which is gonna be reinstalling the rear tire. So there's a couple things going on here. You're getting the axle, the rear axle through the hole. So you've got to line all the little holes up just like you got to do on the front. But while doing that, you've got to line up the brake rotor into the caliper and simultaneously keeping everything in line. And that happens. got it in. Hello everybody, if you've made it this far to the end of the video, we appreciate you for watching. Today was all about getting the Surron rebuilt. As you know and heard earlier in the video, got it for 1,500 bucks on Facebook. So we had to do a lot of small maintenance things and replacement parts just to get it to ride smooth the way it is now. Still got big plans for the bike along with all the other bikes in the group. A lot of big purchases coming up, controllers, batteries, things like that. That's going to lead to some great projects. But stay tuned because again, we still got a lot of things planned for this bike, trying to make it the best cheap Facebook find that you'll see. And as well as stay tuned for some content related to the house. We all went in, got a house together. Big plans for Sev's coming up, so we'll give you a tour of that here in the next couple weeks.